Hey guys, how are you tonight? I hope you're settled and cozy and ready to drift. Tonight, we're going to explore something quietly mind-bending, time dilation. The idea that time can slow down or stretch, depending on how fast you're moving. Sounds wild, right? But it's real, and it affects satellites, astronauts, even your own breath. From wherever you're watching your bed, your couch, maybe even a midnight walk, just relax. You don't have to understand everything at once. Let's take it slow and see what happens when time itself becomes soft. You lie still, eyes closed, breath soft and steady. The world around you quiets, not with silence, but with softness, like a room slowly dimming its lights. No clocks tick in your ear, no alarms ring, just the rhythmic hush of now. You are not moving, not in any way anyone could see, but beneath your stillness, a journey has already begun. You are traveling, not through space, but through time. Feel your breath in out again. This rhythm, this gentle inhale and release, is the metronome of your body. Every breath, every heartbeat, every cell pulsing quietly inside you is keeping time. Not the rigid kind stamped on a wall clock, but the slow, flexible kind, the time that folds around your bones, slips through your fingertips, and coats the world in its unseen flow. Time is not one thing. It does not move equally for everyone. Above the mountaintops, it ticks just a little faster. Deep beneath the sea, it slows ever so slightly, as though resting in deep sleep. This is not poetry. This is physics. It's been measured with clocks so precise they lose only 1 second every billion years. These clocks, tucked on satellites and nestled on mountaintops, whisper truths that once seemed impossible. Time bends. As you lie here, imagine yourself drifting gently upward. Not flying, not rushing, just rising slowly into the sky. The higher you go, the less Earth pulls on you, and as that invisible tug weakens, time begins to shift. Your seconds stretch out, almost imperceptibly, like the hush before a snowfall. Clocks on the ground run just a hair slower than the ones you would carry high into the air. If you lived atop a mountain, your life would unfurl in slightly quicker moments than those lived in a valley. Not enough to feel, but enough to matter. Now picture the opposite. Drift downward, into the deep ocean, past the shimmering sunlight, through the blue quiet, into the black stillness of the sea's deepest folds. Here, pressure reigns, gravity is slightly stronger, and time, faithful companion, though it is, slows in response. You are not dreaming, you are changing. Your heart still beats, your body still breathes, but every moment you experience happens just a little slower than it does for someone on the surface. A scientist sits on a high-altitude platform, sipping tea and watching clouds drift beneath her. Her time moves a tiny bit faster than yours does in the ocean trench. Her tea cools a fraction of a second sooner. Her thoughts pass like the breeze, just slightly ahead of your own. This difference is small, but it means something enormous. Time is not fixed. It is not an invisible ruler carved into the universe. It is soft, it is responsive, it listens. Einstein taught us this, not with instruments or experiments, but with imagination. He asked, what if someone was falling freely, as if in an elevator with no floor? Would they feel gravity at all? No, they would float, they would be weightless. And in that floating, he saw something new. Gravity is not a force. It is a bending, a curve, a slope in the fabric of space and time. And time, like water in a tilted bowl, flows differently along that curve. Now, back in your still body, you begin to feel this bending. Earth is not just holding you in place, it is holding time itself. Near the planet's surface, time ticks just a little slower because of that gravitational pull. This is called gravitational time dilation, and it is not theory anymore. It's fact, used daily in technologies like GPS. Without correcting for it, your map would drift, your position would fail, your navigation would be lost. Still breathing, still warm, you begin to realize you are woven into a fabric, soft, stretched, curved by the mass beneath you. Space and time are not separate. They are a single cloth, folded by planets and stars. You live on one of those folds, stretched gently across a turning Earth, and every step you take, every breath you draw, moves within that fold. You don't feel it, but you are part of time's shape. Close your eyes more deeply now. Imagine you are a drop of honey sliding down a slow, invisible slope. That's what your seconds are doing, gently flowing along gravity's pull. The lower the slope, the slower the flow. The higher the ground, the quicker the drop. No one taught you to think of time this way, but once you see it, you can never unsee it. You've already traveled far, though your body hasn't moved. You've drifted above mountains and below oceans. You've floated with satellites and sat beside imaginary elevators. You've felt how time, while always ticking, can tick at different tempos depending on where you are. What a quiet wonder. Now let your breath deepen just slightly. Not faster, not louder, just enough to feel the air move across your lips like wind over calm water. You are not just breathing air, you are breathing time. Your lungs open in rhythm with a universe that stretches every moment around you. Time does not hurry. It folds softly into the space you inhabit. It's not only gravity that does this. There is another way time can change. Not by where you are, but by how fast you move. A train rushing across the land, a spacecraft hurtling between stars, even a plane high above the clouds. When you move fast, truly fast, time responds again. But that is a journey for another chapter. For now, you rest on the slope of Earth's gentle pull. In the stillness between slow seconds, time is not rushing here. It's waiting, listening, bending softly under you like a hammock between stars. And just as you begin to understand its softness, its shape, its stretch, you begin to wonder what happens when speed, true, relentless, speed starts to pull at time in its own way. What happens when motion becomes the sculptor of moments? What happens to time when you start to move? It begins with a feeling, a weight you no longer notice, the weight of your body resting on the bed, the gentle tug downward, a kind of cradle you never question. That pull is gravity, holding you close to the Earth's surface. But it holds more than just your body. It holds your seconds, to your minutes, your hours. Gravity does not just keep you grounded, it touches time itself. This invisible force, this silent companion, slows time wherever it touches strongest. You don't feel it, you can't, but the clocks know. High above, where satellites drift and gravity weakens, their time runs slightly faster than yours. If you carried a perfect clock to the top of a mountain, it would tick just a bit more quickly than one at sea level. Not enough to change your day, but enough to remind you, time bends where gravity presses. Close your eyes and picture it, the surface of the Earth like a great canvas, and gravity like an invisible artist, pressing a hand into that canvas, warping it ever so gently. The closer you are to that hand, the more time stretches like soft taffy. The further away you float, the more time is released from that grip, free to move a little faster. You are not just lying in space, you are lying in a soft, curved fabric, called space-time. This is what Einstein saw, not through a telescope, but through thought. He imagined a man falling, not flying, not leaping, but falling freely inside an elevator. To someone inside the elevator, there would be no sense of gravity at all, no way to tell whether he was floating in deep space or falling through Earth's pull. In that moment of weightlessness, something profound is revealed. Gravity and acceleration, he realized, might be two sides of the same hidden truth. And if gravity could be reimagined, not as a pulling force, but as a bending of time and space, then time itself would be affected. Wherever gravity deepens, time slows. It's not magic, it's not science fiction. It's the nature of the universe, soft, flexible, and quietly obedient to mass. Now drift with this thought. Imagine yourself standing near something far more massive than Earth, a giant planet or a star. Feel the difference in the air, the dense pull of its presence. Time here doesn't move like it does on Earth. It slows, curling inward like a fern folding in the dark. Light lingers longer. Moments stretch. You would speak, move, even blink more slowly, at least from the perspective of someone watching from afar. This is not just theoretical. We've seen it in action. Astronauts, aboard the International Space Station, even though they're further from Earth's gravity, also move at incredible speeds. The interplay of motion and gravity means their clocks run a little differently than yours. Tiny differences, but differences all the same. Time does not tick the same everywhere, even in our little corner of the universe. Now picture a beam of light. It travels straight and fast, the fastest thing there is. But place that beam near a massive object, like a star or a black hole, and even light begins to bend. The path curves, the light stretches, the speed stays the same, but the route changes, and with it, time must adapt. This is gravitational lensing, and it's a quiet echo of time's softness. It's how we know beyond theory, that gravity really does bend space and time. There's a beauty in this, isn't there? In knowing that time listens to mass, that the stars above, the planets, the earth beneath your bed, they all press into time, shaping it like waves shape sand. You don't have to move to be part of this. Just by lying still, you are already experiencing it. Your heartbeat slows just slightly in a valley. Your seconds drift a little faster in the thin air of mountains. It is all so subtle, so gentle, but it is real. Gravity, in this way, is not just a force that holds your feet to the ground. It's a sculptor, a timekeeper, a quiet conductor, slowing the tempo of your moments when you rest close to its source. Think of that the next time you look up at the sky. Those stars twinkle not only because of distance and light, but because their gravity slows time itself. Light escaping a massive star takes longer to climb away, like a whisper climbing out of a deep well. And then, there are black holes, the ultimate slowers of time. Places where gravity folds space-time into itself so tightly that time nearly stops. Near the event horizon, the point of no return, a second can stretch into eternity. If you stood near the edge of a black hole but not too close, time for you would crawl. From Earth, it would seem as if you'd nearly stopped moving. A single breath might take 1,000 years in the outside world. Time becomes syrup, thick and golden, holding everything in its grasp. But don't be afraid of that idea. Let it comfort you, because it shows just how flexible time really is, just how connected your moments are to the universe's weight. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are shaped by it. Every second you live is influenced by the places around you, the hills, the stars, the gravity wells tucked beneath your feet. Even here, in this room, your seconds are slightly slower than they would be on the roof above. Even now, lying still, you are touched by the planet's pull. You are resting on the slope of time itself. Take a breath. Let that sink in. You are breathing in time shaped by gravity, a cosmic lullaby, softly stretched across your life. And maybe, just maybe, you can feel it now, the gentle resistance in each moment, the way the second hand slows when you're not looking. Einstein didn't need a spaceship to discover this. He needed only thought, imagination, and the courage to question how the universe works. You can do the same. Tonight, you have wandered the folds of time, followed the curves of starlight, and rested in the invisible hands of gravity. But this is only one part of time's story. So far, you've stayed still, floating, sinking, pausing to listen. But what happens when you begin to move? What happens when you chase time, instead of letting it cradle you? The next chapter waits just ahead, where motion begins to pull at the fabric, and time itself starts to yield in ways that are even stranger still. You are still, but let's imagine that changes. Let's say you begin to move, not a shuffle, not a stroll, but swift motion. A train glides beneath you, a car hums forward, or perhaps you're inside something faster, much faster, a ship built for stars, built to skim the edges of light. As you pick up speed, something invisible and astonishing begins to happen. Time, the quiet companion you thought you understood, begins to shift. You don't feel it, not in your skin or your pulse, but it's there, in the ticking of a perfect clock, one that rides beside you as you soar, and another that waits at home. Over time, they disagree. The clock in motion runs just a little slower, not broken, not misaligned, simply obeying the deep laws of the universe. Time, it turns out, is not absolute. It bends not only to gravity, but to motion itself. This is special relativity, Einstein's other great unveiling. It tells us that time slows down for things that move quickly. The faster you go, the slower time becomes for you, compared to someone who stays still. It is not magic. It is not illusion. It is the true fabric of the cosmos, adjusting itself around you. Imagine you are on a sleek, quiet train. It moves faster and faster until the countryside outside is a blur of green and gold. Inside, you're calm, reading, breathing. The clock above the door ticks softly in rhythm with your heart. But outside, for someone watching the train pass, something strange begins to appear. To them, your clock ticks just a little more slowly. To them, your breath takes just a little longer. You feel no difference, but they do. And if the train could reach the speed of light, though it never truly can, time, for you, would seem to nearly stop. This is time dilation in motion, the universe adjusting its pace for moving things, a gift and a puzzle. You age a little, slower on the train than those who wave from the station. Not enough to notice, not yet, but the faster you go, the stronger the effect. In fact, it's already happening to astronauts in orbit, two particles moving through the Large Hadron Collider, to the GPS satellites above your head. Let's take you further. Imagine you are aboard a spacecraft now, not the clunky kind from early space programs, but a smooth, quiet vessel built for deep time. It drifts closer to the speed of light. Your journey begins. The stars outside do not change. Your heart still beats in its usual rhythm. But when you return, something odd awaits. The world is older. Decades may have passed. People have aged. Buildings have changed. Your home may feel like a memory, and you, untouched by the same years, have lived in stretched seconds. This is not science fiction. This is the twin paradox, a real effect, born from relativity. One twin stays on Earth, the other travels in a fast ship. When they reunite, the traveling twin is younger. Not just in feeling, but in measurable time. Time has passed differently for each of them, because speed shaped their clocks in unequal ways. And what is a clock, really, but a pattern of repetition, a pendulum swinging, a heartbeat pulsing, a thought arising and falling in the brain? If motion can slow a mechanical clock, it must slow everything else too, including you. This is where science becomes something deeper, something personal. You are not separate from time. You are time, folded into flesh and breath. When you move, time moves with you, and sometimes it moves slower. So close your eyes again. Imagine speeding through the blackness of space, stars stretching past like trails of rain. You are not aging like the rest of the universe. You are tucked inside a moving shell where time drips like thick honey. To the outside world, you are paused, but to yourself, you feel normal. This is the strange paradox of motion. Time stretches from one view, but remains steady from another. The truth is, there is no single clock in the universe, no master time that governs all. Each traveler carries their own, and depending on your path, your speed, and your surroundings, your moments might not match someone else's. That's not a glitch. That's the nature of things. That's relativity. Even light plays by these rules. No matter how fast you move, light's speed never changes. It is the one constant, the universal messenger that tells us just how warped our time and space have become. Everything else, your age, your heartbeat, your perception of distance, must adjust to keep light's rhythm unchanged. It's as though the universe has agreed, light shall always move the same, and we must bend around it. But there's comfort in that, isn't there? A light that never changes, a rhythm that holds, even when time itself sways and stretches. When you move faster, the universe doesn't punish you. It simply adapts. It lets you live your time differently. So you sit in that imagined vessel, racing along the edge of light, and know this: your seconds are precious, and they are yours, alone. The faster you go, the longer they become, not longer in length, but longer in relation. Your life, stretched softly against the universe's own fabric. And here's something beautiful. Even here, in the gentle world of dreams and sleep, this truth holds. The more you slow your breath, the more your thoughts drift, the more still you become, the more you sense the subtle rhythm of time. And in motion, real or imagined, you now know that rhythm can change. Everything changes when you move quickly. Even time learns to dance differently. But this leads to another question. Soft. As it rises in the dark, what happens when two people, born together, choose different paths through time? What if one remains, and the other skips ahead? What happens to their reunion, to memory, to love, to age? That's a story worth dreaming about. There were once two twins, identical in every way, same eyes, same laughter, born within minutes of each other, beneath the same stretch of sky. They grew up side by side, shared their stories, whispered to the moon in the same midnight air. But one day, one of them left, not out of anger or sadness, but wonder. One twin stayed on Earth, the other climbed into a vessel made for the stars. The ship, sleek and silver, rose slowly through clouds, then disappeared into black. The journey had begun. This is not a fairy tale. It is a thought experiment, a beautiful one, known as the twin paradox. And tonight, you step into its quiet rhythm. You are one twin, and you are also the other. Imagine the still twin, the one left behind. Their life unfolds with the slow grace of trees growing. They walk the same paths, wake with the same sun, Their time ticks in familiar ways. Birthdays, seasons, the gentle unfolding of years. Now imagine the traveling twin. Their ship moves fast, faster than any plane, faster than any dream, near the speed of light. Inside the ship, time is soft, drawn out. A single hour might stretch across a day back home. The faster the twin moves, the slower their clock becomes, not by fault, but by design. It's the universe's quiet law. Motion reshapes time. To the twin aboard the ship, nothing seems strange. They breathe, they blink, they hum to themselves as the stars streak past. But on Earth, things change. The trees grow taller, friends grow older. The other twin grays at the temples, then the roots. The days turn into decades. When the space twin finally returns, stepping once more onto the familiar soil of Earth, they are still young, but their twin is older now, wiser, weathered by time. The two embrace, but their moments no longer match. It feels like magic, but it's real. It has been proven with particles, with atomic clocks flown on jets and set on mountaintops. It's the result of special relativity. Time passes more slowly for those who move quickly. The paradox is not really a contradiction. It only feels that way until you understand what motion does to time. And so, you lie in bed, thinking about these two, the one who stayed and the one who soared. You begin to see yourself in both. There are parts of you that stay grounded, rooted in memory and rhythm, and there are parts of you always moving your dreams, your thoughts, the quiet questions you carry through your days. Maybe we are all twins in this way, one foot in the present, the other in some distant tomorrow. Now breathe slowly. Let the story of the twins unfold in your own mind. Imagine what the still twin must feel to see their sibling return almost unchanged, like a photograph plucked from time. And imagine what the spacefaring twin must feel to find the world older, transformed, like a dream revisited after too long. This is not just a story about clocks. It's a story about love and separation, about time as something not just measured, but felt. When we move quickly through space, through decisions, through years, we lose and gain different pieces of ourselves, not because time is cruel, but because it is fluid, soft, responsive. And here is something even more beautiful. Neither twin is wrong. Their experiences are both true. Time has passed differently for each of them, but that time is still real, still theirs. The universe does not play favorites. It simply follows its shape, a shape where speed changes the music of minutes. So rest here now, as one twin, then rest again, as the other. Let your breath become a kind of ship, in, out, in again, carrying you softly across this thought. What if you could choose which twin to be? Would you travel, chasing stretched time among the stars? Or would you remain grounded in the familiar rhythm of seasons and sunlight? There is no right answer. Only the knowledge that time, like love, is not always shared equally. Sometimes we stretch ahead. Sometimes we wait behind. Even now, time is moving differently for you than for someone high above, on a satellite, in a plane, on a mountain. And perhaps that makes you wonder, are we all drifting apart, little by little? Are our seconds always slightly out of sync? But no, not drifting apart. We are braided together. Our timelines may curve, slow, or stretch, but they still touch. They still meet again. That is what happens for the twins. After all the years and all the silence between stars, they find each other again. Different, yes, but reunited. Their timelines, though separate, still overlap, still echo with the same original beat. You may never leave Earth, but still, you live the twin paradox in smaller ways. When you travel, when you wait, when you change while someone else stays the same. That is the gentle truth time teaches us. We each walk our own path through its river. And as you drift into sleep, perhaps you carry that image with you, two versions of yourself, walking forward through different skies, each learning how precious a second can be when it stretches or disappears. But now you begin to wonder, what is your own body's relationship to time? If time can slow down for a ship, can it also shift inside the quiet chambers of your heart, your breath, your bones? What kind of clock lives inside you? What story does your own body tell as time moves through it? Your breath is steady now, soft as silk on a quiet night. You lie still, and yet, within you, 1,000 clocks are ticking. They are not made of gears or hands. They do not chime, but they keep time all the same. Your heart, pulsing in its patient rhythm. Your lungs, drawing air like tides washing up against shore. Even the gentle rise and fall of your chest is a kind of cosmic metronome. You are a timekeeper, not metaphorically, literally. Every part of you carries its own tempo. Your body is not simply passing through time. It is shaped by it, filled with it, orchestrated by it. Time is in your blood, your bones, your breath. Close your eyes and listen inward. There is music playing, slow, cellular, ancient. Your circadian rhythm hums beneath your skin, telling you when to sleep, when to wake. This rhythm is not random. It is tuned to the spin of the earth, to the sun's golden arc across the sky. Light enters your eyes and whispers to your brain, now is morning. Darkness tells your body, now it is time to rest. Even in sleep, you follow a schedule written in molecules. Hormones rise and fall like moonlight over a quiet lake. The temperature of your body lowers, your heartbeat softens, and this change, this surrender to the rhythm of night, is a kind of clockwork, as beautiful as any star chart. But these inner clocks are not fixed. Like all timepieces, they can shift, move your body higher, into the mountains, and time changes slightly. Not in your imagination, in measurable ways. Gravity pulls less at that height, and so your inner time, the atomic beat of your cells, speeds up just a little. Travel quickly, and your body's processes slow in relation to those standing still. You may not feel it, but physics doesn't wait for feeling. It simply is. Your body knows this, even if your mind forgets. It adjusts. It listens. It keeps pace with your place in the world. You are not separate from the universe's time. You are threaded into it. Picture the strands of DNA that wind through your cells. Double helixes coiled like galaxies. Each twist and turn not only stores your identity, it also dances in rhythm with time. Your cells divide, replicate, repair, all according to biological clocks inherited from stars and oceans and ancestors. You are built from time. Even aging is a kind of quiet clock. Not a cruel one, but a truthful one. Every second you live, your body records it. Skin changes texture, hair softens or fades. Cells learn, grow, or rest. Time is written into your biology, not as a punishment, but as a poem. And then, there are your memories. Oh, how they shape your sense of time. A single hour in joy can vanish like mist. A moment in fear can stretch into an eternity. Time is not only a physical rhythm, but a psychological one. The mind bends time as easily as gravity does, compresses it in dreams, expands it in silence. But through all these changes, your body continues to mark time faithfully. You are not just in time, you are of time. Your fingers, your eyelids, your very breath, all of it ticking softly to a rhythm older than history. Now imagine this. Far above Earth, astronauts circle the planet in silence. Their bodies drift in microgravity, and their time shifts. Muscles weaken, bones lose strength. The lack of gravity changes their very physiology. And yet, their inner clocks still try to tick. They adapt, slowing and adjusting. Because the body always seeks rhythm. It always seeks time. Back on Earth, your own rhythm is more stable, but still sensitive. Change your schedule, and your internal time stumbles for a moment, like a dancer stepping out of sync. Stay awake too long, and your thoughts grow heavy. Eat too late, and your digestion becomes foggy. Even your temperature, your hunger, your dreams all follow a schedule you don't always notice, but always live within. This is the hidden harmony of being human. You are made to move through time, not just survive it. Your biology doesn't just measure seconds, it lives them, breath by breath, beat by beat. You are a moving clock made of stardust and intention. And just as your body flows with time, so too does time respond. Move faster, and your rhythms slow, gently, fractionally, rise above Earth's pull, and your clock ticks quicker. Gravity and speed don't just bend time in physics labs, they echo inside you. You are, in every way, part of the equation. Isn't that beautiful? You do not simply observe time passing, you carry it, you interpret it, you are it. So as you drift tonight, think of yourself as more than a person. Think of yourself as a delicate instrument, tuned by light, gravity, motion, and memory. You don't need to understand every formula or theory. Just breathe, feel your pulse, feel your chest rise, and know, this is time, moving through you, with you. The stars that forged your atoms billions of years ago, they too kept time. They pulsed and spun and died, releasing elements that would one day form your body. Their light still travels across space, unchanged, because light has its own relationship with time, a constant one. Perhaps then, you carry a little of that constancy. You are not a bystander to time. You are a participant, a keeper, a child of light and rhythm. And now, as your breath becomes softer, and your thoughts fade like distant signals, there is one more idea waiting ahead. If your body, even in stillness, is shaped by time, then what happens near the edge of something much heavier? What would it feel like to rest beside something that bends time so deeply it almost stops? What would it feel like to sleep near the whisper of a black hole? You're still, wrapped in quiet, but tonight, your thoughts drift farther, past Earth, past orbit, past stars that shimmer like tiny bells on velvet. You travel now to the edge of something deep, something dark, a place where gravity doesn't just hold time, it swallows it. You're floating near a black hole. It doesn't roar, it doesn't rage. In truth, it's quiet, more whisper than scream. Not because there's nothing happening, but because even sound has trouble escaping. Around you, stars shimmer faintly, but their light bends inward, pulled toward the dark. You are not falling, not yet. You are hovering, just outside its reach, close enough to feel the change, far enough to be safe. You're here to feel time slow, in the deepest way it can. A black hole isn't just a thing. It's a place where gravity becomes nearly infinite, where space-time itself folds so tightly that nothing, not even light, can climb back out. It's not a hole in space, it's a pit in time. And near its edge, the event horizon, time, doesn't just stretch, it pauses. Picture time as a river. Normally, it flows steadily, quiet, even from moment to moment. But near a black hole, that river pools, thickens, stops moving. If you floated close enough, an outside observer would see you slow down, and down, until you nearly froze. You'd still feel normal. Your heartbeat, your thoughts, your blinking eyes, they'd all keep pace with each other. But to the universe, you'd be barely moving at all. That's how deeply gravity can bend time. You are resting now near such a place. You see the world behind you, far away, stars and galaxies, swirling slowly. But everything near the black hole grows strange. Light doesn't move in straight lines. It curves, it stretches. Even color fades, bright beams turn redder, duller, until they disappear. This is called gravitational redshift. And it's not just light that's affected. Clocks too lose their rhythm. Imagine you had a friend far away, watching you float here from a safe distance. They'd see you drift toward the black hole's edge, but never cross it. To them, you'd appear to move slower and slower, as if caught in a dream that won't finish. A single second for you might stretch into centuries for them. And if you turned to wave, they might never see your hand reach its peak. But from your own point of view, nothing feels unusual. You don't notice time stretching. Your breath still fills your chest, then drifts away. Your thoughts still move at the same pace. This is the strange magic of relativity. Each person's time is real, even if it flows differently from someone else's. Black holes remind us that time isn't solid. It folds and curls like fabric left in the wind. Mass bends time. And black holes carry more mass in a tiny space than almost anything else in the universe. Where does it go? All that matter, all that gravity? We don't know. The center of a black hole, the singularity, is still a mystery. It may be infinitely small. It may be something else entirely. But we do know what happens near it. We know how it changes time. And tonight, floating gently near its edge, you feel it too. Time here is soft. Not like a ticking watch, but like a whisper through mist. It doesn't pass, it drifts. The seconds grow long, like shadows stretching at dusk. You begin to feel that even memory slows. Thought becomes more spacious. Moments linger like distant echoes in a deep canyon. And so, you rest in this stretched space, safe in thought, imagining what it means. What if you stayed here for just a few minutes, then flew back to Earth? To you, it would feel like a short pause, a breath held, a glance away. But back home, decades might have passed. Your city might have changed. People you knew might have grown, shifted, faded into time's sweep. You would return, not older, but changed in a different way. Out of sync, like a photograph pinned to a moving wall. This isn't fantasy. It's a quiet fact of physics. Time near a black hole slows so deeply, so profoundly, that stepping close to one is like stepping into the future. You don't travel across years. You let the years slide past you, and return to find them gone. It's humbling and beautiful, and a little lonely, but you are not alone. Particles near black holes swirl in luminous rings. This is called the accretion disk, a bright band of hot matter spinning just outside the event horizon. These particles glow from friction and heat. They race around the edge, moving faster than anything you've ever imagined. To them, time slows to but their light escapes, just barely painting the black hole's rim in halos. That light is ancient by the time it reaches us, but it still carries the signature of warped time, of bent gravity. Astronomers read that light like a letter from the edge of silence, and now you, too, can read it in feeling, if not in words. You imagine, standing on a small platform just beyond the event horizon. Below you, nothing. A darkness that pulls not with sound, but with stillness. Above you, the whole universe, swirling, breathing, unaware of how slow you are moving now. You are suspended, not in fear but in wonder, because here, time is nearly a secret. It no longer behaves. It stretches to the point of invisibility, and you, floating in its arms, begin to wonder something else. If time can pause near a black hole, does that mean time could end, or bend back on itself? Could there be places or moments where time folds so tightly that it becomes a loop? Could you step outside of time entirely? You don't need to know the answer, not yet. You only need to rest in the beauty of the question, to feel how vast and soft the universe can be, to know that even time has places where it moves like breath held too long. You drift a little further from the black hole now, not away in fear, but gently, thoughtfully, like a swimmer. Turning from the deep, you carry its stillness with you, its weightless pause, its quiet truth. And as the stars begin to brighten again, as gravity softens, and time returns to its usual hush, you begin to feel a new question forming. If light moves at the same speed for everyone, everywhere, no matter how fast you travel or how deep the gravity around you, what does that mean for time? What secret is light carrying on its back across the cosmos? You've returned now from the edge of gravity's deepest breath, from the soft pull of a black hole's whisper, but something still hums in your thoughts, a question not fully asked. What is it that lets us see, measure, compare, and remember time? What carries it across the stars? The answer, quiet and bright, is light. Light is the great traveler, the cosmic messenger. It moves at one speed, always, everywhere. No matter how fast you run, no matter how deep the gravity beneath your feet, no matter if you're standing still or racing through space, light never changes its pace. Close your eyes and imagine a single photon, a tiny particle of light, smaller than small, and yet it carries something enormous on its back. Information, direction, time. When you see a star twinkle in the sky, you're seeing light that left its home perhaps hundreds or thousands of years ago. You're not seeing the star as it is, you're seeing it as it was when that light began its journey. The photon remembers. It tells the story of where it came from. Light doesn't rush or dawdle. It moves at a precise speed, about 300,000 kilometers per second. It doesn't matter if the source is moving or still. It doesn't matter if you're chasing it or running away. Its speed stays the same. And because of that, everything else must bend around it. This is the heart of relativity. To keep the speed of light steady, time and space must adjust. If you move faster, time slows, distances contract. Because light refuses to change, it sets the rules, and time must listen. Let that idea sink in. Light isn't just illumination. It's a rule, a rhythm. It's the metronome the universe uses to mark motion and change. Imagine now that you're flying beside a beam of light, trying to match its speed. You push faster, faster, until the stars blur. But even then, light still pulls ahead. You never catch it, because nothing with mass can move as fast as light. And if you could catch up, if you could somehow ride beside that photon, something strange would happen. Time would stop. From light's own perspective, no time ever passes. A photon is born, and it arrives, no journey in between. It simply is. But for you, resting now in the soft rhythm of your breath, light takes time. It leaves stars and moons and planets. It travels, curving around gravity, and brings images into your waiting eyes. Your body understands light, even if you don't notice. Your sleep cycles follow it. Your mood responds to it. Your eyes evolve to see just the part of it called visible light, a tiny slice of a vast spectrum. Radio waves, X-rays, microwaves, All are light, traveling with the same unshakable speed. Even now, photons are drifting through your window, landing on your blanket, glancing off your skin. They bring warmth, color, time, and just as they touch you, they also carry time outward. If you were to shine a flashlight into the night, its light would keep going long after you've gone to sleep, long after the earth has turned. It will move forever, unless something stops it, and it will carry the mark of now into the vast future. That's what makes light sacred. In a way, it preserves, it remembers, it links one moment to another, connecting events across impossible distances. When telescopes look deep into space, they're also looking deep into the past. Because that light has taken so long to arrive, some of it began its journey before Earth had trees, before oceans had life, before your name was ever whispered. And yet, here it is, arriving softly, no louder than a sigh. This is how time travels in the universe, on the back of light, not in leaps or jumps, but in smooth, constant motion. You may wonder, why is light so special? Why does the entire structure of time bend to protect its speed? The truth is, we don't fully know. But what we do know is that light defines the rhythm of reality, and when we try to understand time dilation, the slowing of time when we move fast or approach gravity, we always come back to this one constant. Light moves the same for everyone. That unchanging speed creates the need for time to stretch. It is not light that adjusts, it is time. So as you lie still tonight, imagine yourself not as a person lost in space, but as a being moving through rivers of light. You are surrounded by beams that never stop, that remember beginnings, that carry the signatures of stars and supernova, births and endings, moments frozen in motion. And maybe, just maybe, you feel lighter too, because you realize that time isn't ticking against you. It's moving with you, wrapped in the same gentle speed that touches every corner of the cosmos. You don't need to understand every equation. You only need to know the universe keeps perfect time, because light never wavers. But now you begin to wonder again, softly, slowly, if light carries time, what happens when you sleep on a ship that moves almost as fast? What kind of dream unfolds when centuries pass outside, and only seconds drift inside? Close your eyes now, just a little deeper. The stars are still above you, but tonight, you aren't just looking at them, you're aboard a ship, moving through them. It hums, not loudly, but softly, like a whisper that never stops. This vessel is fast, very fast, almost as fast as light. You are not the pilot, you are the dreamer, tucked in gently, resting in a capsule no larger than a room. Around you, the ship glides through space like a drop of water through dark silk. There are no windows, no clocks, only the gentle vibration of movement, steady, unchanging. Time here is slow, not sluggish or lazy, but drawn out, like breath held underwater, like the long pause before sleep takes over. Inside the ship, only a few minutes pass, but outside the universe is racing ahead. This is the gift of motion. The closer you move to the speed of light, the more time bends in your favor. Not because the universe likes you, but because time must stretch. To keep light's speed steady, you are wrapped in that stretching now. Your body ages slowly. Your dreams unfold slowly. Even your heartbeat feels suspended, like the ticking of a faraway metronome. And while you rest, Earth spins on. The people you once knew continue there. Lives, seasons change, buildings rise, oceans warm and cool. Generations pass, but you are asleep in a bubble of slow time. And to you, nothing feels unusual. Your breath comes and goes, just as it would on any quiet night. You are living in what physicists call proper time, the time that feels normal to you. But those watching from Earth would see something else. A person paused in motion, barely aging, barely dreaming, while the centuries flicker by. It's not science fiction, it's relativity in motion. Now, imagine someone back on Earth is watching your ship. To them, your vessel seems almost frozen, its clocks slowed, its traveler unchanged. But to you, everything inside is calm and regular. You sip tea, you blink, you drift into sleep. Your experience and theirs are both true. Because time isn't absolute, it's personal. It depends on your path, your speed, your journey through space. And tonight, your journey is gentle and long. This spaceship doesn't jump. It glides, smoothing the edges of seconds, carrying you between star systems while your body lies still. You might be dreaming now, not of Earth, not of home, but of the stars you're passing. Maybe they pulse like slow heartbeats. Maybe they spiral like memory. Maybe they speak in light. Outside your ship, light from distant galaxies continues to travel. But to you, those galaxies seem compressed, drawn together into a tunnel of brightness ahead. This is called relativistic aberration, a strange effect of moving so quickly. Space folds forward, time stretches back, and in the silence of your cabin, you are somewhere between the two. Everything here is softened. The lights are low. The hum of engines is barely a thought. You begin to imagine what it will feel like to return, to land, quietly, and step out into a world that has aged without you. Perhaps the languages have changed. Perhaps the forests have regrown. Perhaps no one remembers your name. But that doesn't scare you. It comforts you. Because you realize now, you are not running from time. You are simply experiencing it differently. You are living proof that motion can sculpt a life, that even while resting, you can travel into the future. And there's something peaceful in that. You think of time not as a thief, but as a painter, one who sometimes works quickly, and sometimes pauses for a very long brushstroke. Your ship continues. There is no destination, only drift, only the long, slow dream of flight. Your heartbeat slows not because you are frightened, but because everything inside you has begun to match the rhythm of the ship. Stillness wrapped in motion, motion wrapped in time. This is what it's like to nap at near light speed, to feel the seconds stretch like silk, to sleep while galaxies slide past, to become, for just a little while, an observer of the universe's long, slow breath. Perhaps you begin to wonder, if you sleep long enough, if your ship continues far enough, will you find the edge of time? Will you reach a place where past and future fold together, where the clock stops ticking entirely? Or will you simply arrive in some distant century, still dreaming, still soft, still the same? The ship doesn't answer. It doesn't need to. Its answer is in its silence, its steady path forward, its gentle gift of slow time. And as you drift deeper into sleep, you begin to understand you are not separate from time. You are not chasing it. You are part of it, a quiet ripple in its ocean. Let it carry you. Let it hold you. Let it move gently around you, while your dreams unfold like petals opening in slow motion. Because tonight, you are aboard a ship that touches the very edge of light, and time, that old companion, is walking with you slower now, softer now, willing to wait. And as it waits, you begin to wonder, what if you didn't need a spaceship at all? What if, right now, right here, your own body could experience time travel, without moving, just by being exactly where you are? You lie here, unmoving, not aboard a spaceship, not beside a black hole, just here, in your bed, beneath a familiar ceiling, inside a quiet room. But still, time is shifting for you. Right now, with every breath, you might think time travel is the stuff of science fiction, machines flashing, portals humming, people vanishing in streams of light. But the truth is quieter, more subtle, more real. Time travel is happening already, to you, to everyone. It's not loud or dramatic, it's soft, like your own breathing. Every breath you take carries you forward, not just in feeling, but, in fact, faster or slower depending on the space around you. Because time, as you now know, doesn't move the same for everyone. It listens to speed, it listens to gravity, it adjusts. You don't need to fly at the speed of light. You don't need to dive into a black hole. You are time traveling now, in tiny ways, simply by existing. Imagine, for a moment, two people sleeping. One is at sea level, near the deep pull of Earth's gravity. The other is high in the mountains, resting beneath thinner air. They both dream. They both breathe. But the mountain sleeper's time ticks just a bit faster. Tiny fractions of a second pass more quickly. They are aging ever so slightly ahead. The difference is small, too small to feel, but it's real. Measured by clocks so precise, they miss only a second in millions of years. Time, after all, is sensitive. It notices everything. This is gravitational time dilation, and you're part of it every moment of your life. Even now, satellites above your head are adjusting for it. Those satellites, part of the GPS that guides your phone, your maps, must correct their clocks constantly, because they orbit higher, where gravity is weaker. Their time runs a little faster. If left your location would be wrong, off by miles, because your time and their time are not quite the same. It's as if every place in the universe has its own version of now. Each point on the map has its own rhythm. And as you move, walk, climb, fly, fall, you shift between those rhythms, sometimes faster, sometimes slower. This means time travel doesn't always require machines. Sometimes it only requires a step. Walk up a hill and your time ticks slightly quicker. Ride a plane and you move into the future just a little. Fly fast enough and that little becomes more. Run fast enough and the gap grows wider. Live on a mountaintop and your future arrives a few nanoseconds sooner. It's all real and it's all already happening. You are not separate from time. You're woven into it, and your motion through space changes how you move through time. That's the heart of relativity, and you, simply by breathing, are living it. Think of a twin again. One stays on Earth. One boards a plane that flies quickly around the world. When they reunite, the flying twin is just slightly younger. The difference is tiny, fractions of a second, but the story is true. And it's not just people. Particles in labs, called muons, are born with very short lives. But when they move close to light speed, their lives stretch. They survive longer, because time slows for them. We've seen it. We've measured it. They live longer, not by luck, but by motion. Now think about your own body, your own cells, your own breath. You inhale, time moves forward. You exhale, and the place you are in, the altitude, the motion, the gravity, all shape how that moment unfolds. You are a time traveler, moving with a soft passport stamped by the laws of physics. Your life is a path not just through space, but through many versions of time. Each step forward, each heartbeat, is recorded on a clock that listens carefully. To where you are, you don't need to feel the change to know it's happening. You only need to rest, and let time do what it does best. Move. But here's something even gentler. Your breath, your thoughts, your stillness, they don't just respond to time. They teach you how to feel it. When you're anxious, time feels quick. When you're calm, it stretches. Your perception bends, like light in gravity. And while those feelings aren't the same as real dilation, they remind you, time is never one thing. You might feel like a minute has passed, but in another place, under another gravity, on another path, that same minute is longer or shorter. You are never fully in sync with anyone else. And yet, beautifully, we all move forward together, like notes in a slow song, slightly out of rhythm, but still in harmony. You rest now, in this bed, on this planet, and you're already time traveling, not to the past, not in great leaps, but gently, steadily, into the future. And you begin to wonder, if time can shift with motion, and with gravity, and with breath, then where do all these personal timelines meet? Where does shared time live? What happens when different clocks, different hearts, try to reunite? What happens when one twin stays, and one returns? You've traveled far, not across continents or galaxies, but through something deeper, through time itself. And now, at the end of this journey, you come to a place, not marked on any map, a quiet space between past and future, a moment that doesn't rush. This is the stillness between seconds. You lie still, breathing gently. The world has slowed with you, not stopped, only softened, like mist settling over a valley at dawn. Time is still flowing, but you've begun to notice its shape. All your life, time has moved forward. It has carried you from childhood to now, from memory to memory, from moment to moment. And yet, how often have you felt it directly, heard its footfalls, watched it stretch? Now you do. You've learned that time bends near gravity, slows with motion, speeds up with altitude, and never quite matches between one observer and the next. You've slept aboard fast ships. You've floated at the edge of black holes. You've rested inside your own breath, noticing how even stillness is filled with motion. But here, in this final moment, you realize something else, something softer still. Time doesn't only exist in clocks, in theories, in the vast movement of planets. Time exists in you, and it slows, not just with physics, but with attention. The slower you move, the more deeply you listen, the more time seems to stretch open like a flower. You become aware of each breath, each pause, each small shift in thought. This is not illusion, it is perception, sharpened by quiet. Stillness lets you see the edges of seconds. It lets you feel the rhythm beneath the rush. Picture a second now, just one. Try to hold it in your mind. What lives inside it? A blink, a beat, a thought. But as you rest, that second feels longer. It feels full, like an entire room you can walk around in. This is the paradox of time. When we stop rushing, time becomes more abundant. It opens, it breathes with us. You do not need to chase it, you do not need to escape it. You only need to meet it, right here, in stillness. Even now, your body is teaching you how. Your heart is not impatient. It does not race unless you tell it to. It beats steadily, marking time in its own way. Soft, dependable, present. And between those beats, stillness, a tiny pause. A quiet interval where nothing happens, and yet everything lives. It is in that space between one tick and the next that you find the truth of time. It's not about hours or years. It's about attention, presence, noticing what has always been there. And this too is a kind of time travel. Because when you step fully into the present, you step out of the rushing current, you float. You are not pulled forward. You are held gently in now. You remember that the body is a clock, a timekeeper made of stars. And when you rest, you let that clock reset. Not to zero, but to rhythm. The world outside continues. Satellites adjust their signals. Galaxies drift. People wake and sleep and move through hours. But you are in the stillness between seconds. This is where peace lives. Not in the past, not in the future, but in this delicate breath. You don't need machines to pause time. You only need awareness, and perhaps a little wonder. Because time is not only measured, it is felt, held, lived through gently. You think of the twins again, one who traveled, one who stayed. You think of their reunion, the older one, the younger one, and how their timelines, though stretched, still met again. And you realize, we are all like that, traveling different paths through time, but still finding one another in the present. This moment, right now, is a reunion, a meeting place, a shared stillness. It doesn't matter how long the journey took, or how many seconds passed differently for each of us. We are here, together, and in this soft pause, in this space between 1 second and the next, everything feels possible. You can rest, you can remember, you can forgive the rushing past. You can stop reaching for the future, because it will come, and you will meet it, not by running, but by being ready. Time will carry you, as it always has. But for now, you are allowed to stay, to breathe, to feel the hush that lives between 2 ticks of the cosmic clock. Let that hush hold you. Let it wrap around you like starlight slowed to silence. Because you have arrived, not at the end of time, not at the start, but right here in the stillness between seconds.